Hey, Muffin here. So I've had the subscriber request for a while, but the reason why I hadn't done it in a long time is because I just didn't really quite know how to do the matchup. And I knew it would always be such a cool request to do, but the problem is that the defender tanks are tier 8s and the monster tanks are tier 7, some are tier 5 and whatever. And there are actually some lower tier, but the crossover isn't perfect. It's not like a match that you can do like event tanks versus their counterparts, which actually I may do a vid where it is the defender tanks versus their counterparts. I think that would actually be a good vid. But in this one, we're actually going to do the defender tanks versus the monster tanks, a request that has been made a few times, and we're gonna see how many defender tanks it will take on 7 monster tanks. Now, if you've seen my monster tanks versus nation, now I do nation versus nation vids, where it was like German engineering versus monster tanks, Russian bias versus monster tanks, etc. And when it was for tier matchup, where the monster tanks were tier 7, the Russian or German or whatever they were also tier 7. The monster tanks annihilated, well, not completely, I think they won all of them against the nation tanks. So this one, the defender tanks are now going to be facing the monster tanks. And we have some pretty good battles, some that get pretty close. So here in the first one, we're actually trying, now the defenders are tier 8, and they're going in with 5 tier 8s against 7 tier 7s. So, just 2 more than the other team. Defenders at 3, monster tanks at 2. Now you do have some pretty mean tanks in the monster line, and for those that play tier 7, you know what I'm talking about. The Annihilator, the Smasher. The Dracula has the fastest, I believe, engine power to weight ratio than any other tank in the game. So, some pretty powerful tanks. Just the Gravedigger and Helsing here. That's a full health Helsing. There's only 2 defender tanks left. Pretty low on health. Now it was actually funny because when I had pushed battle in this room, I forgot to add myself as a spectator, so I didn't have any idea what was going on in this one. So real close here. Very, very close match with the 5 defenders versus 7 monsters. Place your votes on who do you think or how many defender tanks it'll take to win against monsters. So this one, the defender tanks were able to just barely pull through for a victory for round 1. Round 2 is not shown. It was an accident. I actually left a defender tank on the monster side. So here we're now going to try out 4 defender tanks against 7 monster tanks. So defenders won last round. We're just gonna see if we can find that sweet spot. Honestly, great game by the subscribers. You guys are what makes the channel. If you guys want to help out with the vids, all are welcome. Join my Discord. Make sure you get the movie crew roll. That way you get the announcement when I'm putting a room together. Now, I will say the IS-3 Defender is not probably one of my favorite Defender tanks. I actually like the T-28 Defender a lot more. I do really like the Defender Mark I. I think that's a great tank. And, you know, I actually don't have the AMX Defender. That's the newest one that came out. And in terms of the monster tanks, we all know the Annihilator. The Smasher is pretty powerful. Tankenstein's pretty slow. Helsing's pretty good. Dracula's really fast. Defender tanks running into a little bit of a tight situation here.
Enemy armor is damaged. Target. Enemy armor is destroyed.
And down to the last defender. So, monsters quite easily took that one when there were 4 of them. So monsters won that one. Now we're going to step it back up and do 5 defenders and see if the monster tanks can pull through. Now the maps were totally at random, and out of all the maps, the game chose the same one again. Now, it was a pretty close game with the first round when it was against 5 defenders. Now, when using the Tankenstein, if I had to use it, this is my preferential cannon. There are 2 cannons you can actually choose. One actually looks a lot like the T-32 American Heavy Tanks cannon, which has better penetration, I believe, better accuracy, better rate of fire, but this one has a higher damage per shot. So we got 1 monster tank that has fallen, one of the Draculas. And now one of the defender tanks have fallen. So really good match. Just 1 defender left. The monsters pulled through, being able to win against 5 tier 8 tanks. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the vid. Got plenty more of awesome ideas. This is the Muffin here. You guys stay cool and keep tanking.